We're here for episode 16 of the Remote Play Gaming Podcast. Guest starring Matthew McConaughey. Myself, Mark. I got Curtis over there in Bulgaria. Evan in the underwater looking for his deep sea internet cables. This is a very special episode where Evan's not going to talk a lot because he's having internet problems. So we have like a button we hit and we're allowed to let him talk or not, let him out of the cage. But hey guys, what's up? What have you been playing? What's going on? How you doing?
What's happening? First thing, everybody's going to notice once they get past how amazing I look, which does take a couple minutes. I'm in a new setup right now. My my normal recording area is inundated with some product from a game that I can't talk about. Otherwise, Evan might have an aneurysm. So get at me on the Discord. Get it? Because I don't Discord. But get at me on the Discord if you want to know what it is, and Mark can cover for me. He'll tell you about it.
Yeah. I'll fill in. It may or may not be a game that's both digital and physical. So if you're into tabletop games, hit us up for the mystery, and we'll talk about it. We'll rope a dope you into it. We're still working on Evan. So,
what's your print over there?
What?
Yeah. I'll translate. Okay. He said, "What you printing over there?"
Right here. Yes. So I am deep in the throes of my my nerd bunker. This is actually some deck boxes for that game that shall not be mentioned.
Got it. Deck boxes. That gives it away a little bit.
It does.
So we recorded earlier before Curtis was able to hop on, and we had this awesome conversation about Echoes of Wisdom, Zelda, that both Evan and I are playing. Curtis, you're not playing this, correct?
Yeah, I'm not entirely familiar with this. This sounds like a Nintendo thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
indeed. So I don't think we're gonna get this awesome in-depth conversation again, but maybe we'll record a separate video when Evan internet is back. But Evan, I would pitch it to you, but you look like you have like no connectivity right now. So
no, I'm here.
I know that, but I know you're
good.
here.
He's here in spirit.
Your bars you got your connectivity bars.
If there's no bars, that's good.
Yeah, there was all the bars.
They were adding more as we speak.
You want to give quick thoughts on, and I mean quick, on Echoes of Wisdom? And you know, what do you like? Well, first off, let's describe the game really quick, and then I'll toss it over to you. So, Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. I think a lot of our listeners probably know what this is, but for Curtis, since he has no clue about any Nintendo games, it is a 2D Zelda, and the shtick with this one is that the main power or weapon you have is that you can create echoes of both inanimate and animate objects. So you can create an echo of a table or a trampoline, and you can place those around the world. You can do the same thing with enemies. So if you beat a snake, a bat, a pig with a spear, you can big enemies. You can learn how to create the echo of them, and then they'll fight for you. So that's kind of the stick with this game. There are some other powers in it, but it's pretty cool so far. Evan, what are your brief thoughts on this one?
Yeah, so I think
nope, he's out.
He's out.
Right, so no thoughts for Evan.
I was really hoping he was going to pull a yeah, it's that exact. I was hoping he was going to do that, like the dude, the weather guy from Family Guy, be like, "It's good," and that's it.
That's hilarious. So I am going to do put my producer hat on a little bit and try and pull up screenshots of stuff we talk about just to keep it lively for the YouTube viewers. I can reiterate some of Evan's thoughts from our previous conversation. The best Zelda game he's played is Death's Door. His favorite is A Link to the Past. Then he likes A Link Between Worlds, and then this so far. Is that right?
Are you reading his Tinder profile right now?
Okay, say it again. What is it?
A Link Between Worlds is my favorite actual Zelda game, and then A Link to the Past.
Got it.
Death's Door is my favorite Zelda, which surpasses all his top-down Zelda games.
Okay. Yep. So what what do you like about this game so far, and what do you not like?
I like the exploration.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the clunkiness of the echoes, especially in combat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Are the echoes? Hold on, let me ask a quick question. Are the echoes like the stuff that you capture like Pokemon?
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, so you find new things and then you're able to clone them, and
Mhm.
create little mimics
So
basically.
it's clones. It's not It's not capturing. It's cloning. Okay.
No,
Gotcha.
yeah, you
Right.
learn like a recipe essentially to create the octopus guy you see on the screen.
But the exploration that the echoes enable is awesome. It's really cool. It makes you feel smart.
Mhm.
Like you're doing something the game wasn't that you weren't supposed to be able to do. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, the echoes feel a little bit clunky, especially in combat. Uh, and the challenge, the difficulty of the game is interesting because it starts out and like this is baby's first Zelda.
Mhm.
But as I've like continued playing the game, it gets a little progressively more difficult, and it's definitely I tell Mark I think it's more difficult than A Link Between Worlds, which is like I said my favorite top-down Zelda. Um, but that may be that artificial or that difficulty may be artificially increased because of the clunkiness of the echoes and the combat and stuff. But
Yeah. So
uh,
Curtis would hate this one, right? So he hated the like breaking mechanic and switching weapons and stuff. That it's not one to one here, but basically like the switching of the echoes is terrible. Like as far as I can tell, you essentially hold a button and you scroll sideways through a library of what you've learned. And as
Okay.
you get further and further in the game, I can only imagine it's going to get huge because I've already got
Yeah.
like 20 things and it's a pain in the butt. You could sort, but it's still not good.
you
Okay.
can't
Is that
you can't even favorite anything. You can't
oh,
hotkey it.
oh,
So
it's so bad.
yeah, it's not good. You can go to like last used, most used, last learned. Like there's several things to sort by, but
Mhm.
you can't customize that sorting.
Yeah, that's
And
rough.
and I've got to be like at 100 items or something like it right now.
Oh,
Like it's insane.
Oh,
So it's just like, oh, and then on top of that, like when you have that many things, you tend to forget. And maybe that's
yeah.
part of the point, right? Is that like it's like everybody has a different experience because it's like, oh, I use this thing a lot, and then like you just kind of forget the rest. So like everybody's like, oh no, like that to me is probably like for a YouTube culture, like actually use this item for this thing, like kind of thing type of
Mhm.
videos and stuff that allows for. So allows it to be maybe that was I don't know if that was a goal.
No, don't even.
No,
There's no
he's
excuse for
grasping
it.
for straws here,
No,
just so he
no.
doesn't have to say anything bad.
But yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's a
like,
lot. I mean,
oh, no, that's a good
but
positive
and
spin,
that's
buddy.
that makes this I don't want to make this game sound bad because like I said, to me it's I think this will come in my third favorite top down Zelda. I still have
Mhm.
several I need to play, but like definitely like this, but more than like Link's Awakening. Um and uh it's not I don't
It's
know.
a good game, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm early on, you're towards the end. I'm detecting both by what you're saying and what I've played so far that it's going to be good to great, not great to awesome or great to masterpiece.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think though, like this is the most this game has had the most like thoroughly mixed reception of of really just about any Zelda game, right? Like usually there's a lot of polarity, right? There is a lot of polarity in Breath of the Wild, a lot of polarity in Tears of the Kingdom,
Mhm.
even or something like Majora's Mask, or games are just widely loved, right? Like Ocarina of Time, A Link to the Past, like those are generally loved. And maybe some people that say they hate them just because they prefer a different one, so they don't want that one to get the love that it does. But there's either polarization or just pretty much but this one to me seems like it has 30 like just there's people that are loving this game. There's people that have never played a Zelda game and they're like, oh, I wanted to try this out, and it's just like, oh, it's so cool, and it's caused them to go explore more Zeldas. There's
Yeah.
and then there's people that hate it. There's things Curtis's boy Cliffy B just tweeted something like I play Zelda for action and adventure, um not to go like copy trees or copy rocks and push trees or something like that. Like he just like totally just bashed the game, and it's like, well, I don't know that, and maybe it was just like the context that the Reddit post was in, but like it just made it sound like Cliffy B sound terrible, which isn't out of the realm for Cliffy B. But
hey man, he comes in with the hot takes.
But I think that speaks. Yeah, he does. I think that's a testament to before we move on to the next topic really quick. I think it's a testament to both Nintendo's, I mean, not just Zelda, but all their properties really, right, is that they don't ever really do exactly the same thing. So you do get this smorgasbord of different types of games, even within the same genre. And so you get that type of interaction online where somebody's like, man, I hate this. This is garbage. Like that happened with Breath of the Wild, right? Tons of people hated it. And then to probably a majority of the people, it was like the best thing ever, right?
Right. My favorite.
And then they go to the next one like this. Somebody might have loved Breath of the Wild might hate this, like Cliffy B or whatever. Like, this is terrible. But then it's also introducing people to stuff like my kids are loving watching this. They're loving thinking about how to use different echoes to solve the puzzles in each room. So it's going to introduce them to, a whole new world of Zelda stuff. And they'll find, one or two of the other ones that they might like, or they might like all of them, or they might hate them all. But at least they don't do the same thing over and over and over. I'm looking at you like EA and Ubisoft.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot. I want to say there's definitely a lot of cool moments in here because of the echoes, right? That like you really be able to do any other way.
You're tanking. You're tanking. We'll just we'll come back to it. Kurt,
it's good.
What have you been playing?
It's good.
It's good. What have you been playing?
Yeah, so I've been playing my Remote Plays Game Pass game from a couple of weeks ago. Shadowrun. What was it called? Shadowrun
Returns.
The green writing.
Is it Shadowrun Returns?
That's it. Yeah.
Hey.
So it turns out. So since you already have this pulled up, I actually learned something. I've known what Shadowrun was for quite a while. Known the background of the story and everything like that. Perfect. Can you go back to your Google search real quick and just search like Shadowrun for like Xbox,
like 360?
Yes, this right here.
Oh, remember, this was going to be their big thing.
Exactly. Yes. So I remember loving the hell out of this game, but way back, 360 days, obviously. And at that time, it never occurred to me that these were the same. Like it was the same universe, the same game, essentially, right? I mean, not the same game because this is a first-person shooter, but I remember playing this and I'm like, this is such a really cool, rad idea. And while I was playing this game, that's when I realized. That's when I don't know how I came across it. That those were like the same universe, same kind of style game, right? And I was like,
right,
whoa, cool. So I did a bunch of research. Then this is how I found out about the link between the two. I did a bunch of research because I was looking forward to playing this game. I was gonna play through it all. I wanted to make sure that I built a character because it's like an RPG, right? So I want to build a character that is fun and interesting, but is also like my play style and stuff like that, right? So I did a bunch of research on like character builds and min-maxing and stuff like that, and finally ended up settling on an orc, and I named him to myself. My guy was just going to be this gruff like brawler who's just like tired of people, and so I couldn't come up with a name, and I'm like, ultimately my dude's just like a jerk, right? And then I was like, Jork is his name. Yeah.
That's a good orc name. Yeah.
So I made his name Jork. And I probably put in the neighborhood of like, I don't know, an hour and a half to 2 hours into the research, doing some YouTube video watching. Wasn't watching reviews, right? I was just watching like character build stuff. Get in, build my character. Game's dated, right? And even back when it came out, the graphics weren't incredible. That's not really what they're about. They're more about the RPG, the story of the game. So get into the game, build Jork, and go through the tutorial. Very, very brief tutorial. Doesn't even tell you how to play the game. It just sets up the story. The only reason I would even call it a tutorial is because you can't die. I was sitting there like just wailing on a guy with my machete while like 4 guys just continually kept shooting me every round, and I was stuck at one hit point for the majority of the tutorial. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So that's not going to be the case forever. Game starts up. That actually will probably, rather than tutorial, we'll call that prologue, right? So one of your buddies in your little gang there, your little clique gets murdered right off the rip, right? So then you go back home and you're like, oh man, that was rough. And you open up your like voicemail or whatever, and it's another one of the dudes that was with you that day, and so it was like a kind of like a time hop, right? And he's like, hey bro, if you're getting this, I'm dead, surprise. But all my stuff is yours. Only thing I ask is you solve my murder, and then my lawyer will open up all my funds in my apartment, and you get all my goods. And so I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, you guys are like street thugs. Like, what do you have that I'm gonna go on this detective journey? And and like I'm gonna go through this and be like, all right, cool, here's 18 creds, bro, and a half a taco. So you go over to the city that he got murdered in. You get to the like corner basically, so you can start finding some excuse me, so you can start finding some evidence on where to go and start your investigation. And this is probably not super long. It takes about 10 minutes, and this is where the fun really began, right? So go through, you're talking to the coroner, some other dude like detective that gives very clearly corrupt roles in, and then they start talking, and then game crashes.
No.
And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So pull it back up, instant crash. I'm like, I haven't even saved the game yet. Like, how am I having like a save corruption when I haven't even saved the game yet? Because I'm only 20 minutes into the game. So I'm like, okay, I'm only 20 minutes into the game. No problem. We'll restart.
Is this on
deleted
PC?
that. Yeah, PC. So deleted that. Pulled it up again. Halfway through character creation, crash.
No.
I'm like, okay, sweet. So did the old uninstall, reinstall.
Man, I would have given up on this at this point. All right, keep going.
Reinstalled it on a different hard drive this time. So I was like, hey, maybe it doesn't like the SSD A. Let's try B, right? Installed on there, open it up. Can't even get through the opening cutscene before it crashes.
No.
So at that point, I just called it quits. I logged about, like I said, 20 minutes in the game. And then about an hour and a half of troubleshooting the game, and another hour and a half to research the game before I actually even started playing it. So this is by far the biggest hit for Remote Plays Game Pass that I've had. Just not so much of the gameplay aspect,
right?
So
I got Kurt's game is up right now.
I love it.
I'm gonna say, so this is on Xbox as well.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And it runs better than PC because I got further along than Curtis did.
Interesting. So when we pulled this up, on the little picker, it said it wasn't for.
It just brought up the PC version, but there's also a console version. So
now you tell me.
For any games on Game Pass that have both a PC and a console version, there's probably double the odds that we get that game.
Interesting. Well, regardless, I'm not going back to it because I put my time in.
Yeah. It gets
So
it reminds me a lot of Citizen Sleeper.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Stop it.
But if there was actually like combat and a player character to like actually move around a map,
Sure.
a map, and
so not like
not at all. Yeah, not at all.
I mean, there's role playing, some cyberpunkiness to it.
Man. So yeah,
but it's like
moving on from that dumpster fire.
Okay. Maybe I'll go. You want me to go next?
Hold on. I mean, I think the whole thing about Shadowrun was it crashed fantasy and sci-fi
Yeah.
together, right? Which is
Yeah.
why I liked it so much in the first place with that first person shooter, because I remember playing as like an elf or whatever. Like you're running around with your SMGs blasting each other, but then I could also
Yeah.
cast spells and stuff like that too. And I like,
Yeah.
so yeah, no, I totally get that. But yeah, so deeply disappointed. But now I have a bad taste in my mouth not going back to it.
Yeah.
Even if it is on Xbox. Do you want to bounce back and forth? Because I've got other stuff that I played.
Yeah, let's just bounce back and forth.
All right, you're up.
I usually play host, and I don't. You get no one ever. You guys don't care about me. You don't ask, "Hey, Mark, what'd you play?" I'm always like, "Hey, man, what'd you guys play?" And you're like, "I
That's
played
not
A,
true.
B, and C."
Well,
do
yeah,
you play
I mean,
games?
I didn't. I thought you were the host. I thought that's what we hired you for.
So I was traveling for the last 3 weeks to the US from Australia, and I got super sick in the third week. So what I could play was limited. I only had the Steam Deck with me, and on the way back, so I played Inscription, which I'm not going to dive into that too much, but I got to the first major twist in Inscription. Not sure that I love it. I'll come back to it and see how I feel. The game completely changes, almost like false advertisement in a way. That would be the negative way to say it.
You got to take off the PC failed here.
No, I'm about to
Oh,
switch it
okay.
to this because that's the game I'm actually going to talk about.
Noise. Okay.
So anyway, Inscription got kind of turned off by the first plot twist and just wanted to play something else. And Sparking Zero came out, and I was seeing so many Instagram reels about like people just getting daddied by like Chaozu and Yamcha and stuff when they think they're badasses like Ultra Instinct Goku. So I'm like, all right, you guys got me. I'm in. This game is awesome. If you're a Budokai Tenkaichi fan from back in the day, or any fighting game fan, check this game out. I don't know if there's a demo. There might be. There's like the roster's like 180 characters, right? I mean, it does include different variations of each one, but just a massive roster of characters. The fighting's really good. The latency, and I'm not an expert fighting gamer, but it seems really good. The graphics are good. The audio and the voice lines are amazing. I haven't dove into multiplayer yet, but everybody seems to be liking that a lot. The single player, I'm playing through the Goku storyline right now, but you start as Goku with the whole like fighting Raditz thing, in the Sand Saga. But as soon as you beat like that first one, it starts to open up other people. So you could start hopping around if you wanted. I just kept continuing on through there. But so far, the game is absolutely incredible. There are tons of specific like finishers depending on who you are using and who you're fighting, so it'll reenact like literally blow for blow stuff from the anime show or the movies. So like, if you're Broly fighting whoever, and they had some specific like scene in the movie where like he blasts you and then grabs you and drags your face against a mountain, like it does that literally shot for shot. So a lot of cool like Easter eggs and stuff like that. Are you either of you guys interested in this game? Numbers wise, blew the doors off. Like best for an anime and fighting game like ever, I think. Right?
Yep.
Yeah,
which is
That's
shocking,
pretty awesome.
right? That it like, when you think of Mortal Kombat, Tekken, and Street Fighter, right? And then there's a few others like Soul Calibur and stuff. Like those are the fighting games you think of, and like Dragon Ball is like it's an anime, right? It shocks me, especially with how like Street Fighter, Tekken were received in the last year, and like maybe they helped boosted this, but like a Dragon Ball game, which like I know the anime is pretty big, right? But it shocked me that surpassed any of these other fighting games that have such a storied legacy.
So Budokai Tenkaichi, which is the American name, right? So like Sparking was the Japanese names for those. That had like such a cult following, I guess, out of all the Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z games. Like there was tons and tons of games, right? And there was even other fighting games, and like even in recent memory, like Dragon Ball Fighters, right? And Kakarot, and none of them hit that same thing that Budokai Tenkaichi did back on like the PS2. And so for this to come back, I think it's literally been over a decade. People have been waiting for the return of this type of fighting game, and so you get the demand, I guess.
Yeah, so it's just like a 2D fighter, right?
No, it's like three-dimensional. So when you fight, it's over the over the shoulder because you are flying around in three-dimensional
yes. Okay.
space. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. So you said Sparking is the Japanese name and Budokai Tenkaichi is the that's okay.
Yep. Yeah. And I think the idea with this Sparking Zero is like it's a return, like essentially saying like a remake or whatever. So I can give you a quick game screenshot. If you have other questions, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I've seen some of the old Budokai Tenkaichi games. So that kind of makes sense. And there's been a couple like that since, or maybe the Budokai series has just been still existent in the last over the last decade or something. But yeah, no, I'm interested in this. I mean, I like a good fighting game. This is obviously a different perspective, so I'm curious. But so did you play it on Steam Deck at all?
I did,
right?
Yeah, and so for the Steam Deck, performance-wise, this game by default is hard-coded to target 60 frames per second. So essentially, there's a fix with an INI file. You just copy and paste 3 lines to make it target 40 frames per second because it's not something you can change in game. And once you do that and then set everything to medium, it performs super well. Pretty much 40 lock. If you have a Steam Deck OLED, you can set the refresh rate down to like 80 hertz, so it's a multiple of the FPS, and it's been really good so far. I mean, it looks good, plays good. I'm sure on PC, which I haven't installed it yet since I've been home, but I'm sure crank it up to ultra to look awesome too.
Cool,
nice.
All right, that's Sparking Zero. Curtis, you got another one, or Evan, you got another one you want to talk about? You've been playing recently.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously we talked about Zelda a little bit. I've been playing a little to the left. So I had this installed on my Xbox. My son was playing Unpacking, and he thought he beat the game. He's like, "Dad, I beat it," and then we realized he beat the first level, or completed the first level. And then so I was like, "Oh, let's see if there's another game." And I was like, I'd heard of a little to the left, and I was like, maybe I'll download that, see if he likes it. He played a little bit of it, fell out of it. It's definitely more challenging than Unpacking.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like an OCD organization simulator, and I've been playing it to it's a quick little a level or two that I'll play while getting my Microsoft rewards, trying to pay for as much of that Xbox handheld in 2026 as I can with Microsoft rewards points. But yeah, no, it's a fun little game. It's not about cats, but there is a cat in there who is probably the most frustrating part of the game for me, because he comes in and occasionally, it's not every level, but just every now and then there will be a level where the cat comes in and swipes everything you've done on the screen. And so it's just like every little thing that you've organized and moved around and stuff is just now all messed up, right? But yeah, there's this drawer organization, right? There's organizing pencils, organizing pictures, organizing, it's just all when I first saw this game in an indie showcase or something, indie world or something for Nintendo, of course. But it was, I was like, oh man, this game just looks terrible. I'm already stressed out about the lack of organization I have in my house, and so I thought it would be terrible, but I'm like, it actually gives me a little bit of I feel like I have control of this, except for when the cat comes in. But I actually have control of this organization, and I don't have 3 little tornadoes called children coming in and just messing it all up all the time, right? So
this is meditation for you.
It was oddly satisfying, a little bit therapeutic. Yeah. So I was like, for 15 minutes at a time, get my Microsoft rewards, and then I jump over to Zelda, and Zelda's really good. By the way, I feel like we left on this being Zelda.
Yeah, we're passed on to that. We're passed on to Zelda.
No, all I heard was bad. That's what came out.
Bad.
It was that bad.
It's gonna rain.
It's gonna rain. Somebody at Microsoft is sitting there and they're like, "Sir, this player Navo8 has amassed $600 of credits. You're like, what the hell?
We got to break.
Nobody was
Shut
supposed
the
to be able to
program
do
down.
that. They're supposed to spend $10 at a time and discount their games down to $60.
Yeah, yeah, definitely delayed gratification, I guess here. You know,
Yeah.
where I'm waiting for.
I love the fact that the whole time you're talking about this, I'm looking at screenshots. I just was clicking through somebody's like gameplay video, and the whole time I'm thinking, and then you brought it up specifically. I'm like, why don't you just go organize your actual drawer,
Yeah.
or and something, and then you're like, yeah, my house is so completely disorganized. This just allows me to get that organization fix.
Right,
And
right.
I'm like,
Get that get that
okay,
dopamine hit
cool,
without
yeah.
actually having to doing anything.
Yes, exactly.
No,
All right.
no, those are exactly the thoughts I had when I first saw this game. I was like, man, if I'm gonna spend time organizing things, like, I'm gonna actually do it in my real house.
I gave him the
Lord.
signal for
I
audio
saw-
only
I saw
listeners.
that,
I'm
dude.
giving there's a baseball hand signal that I do when I touch the hat and then I dive bomb.
Was
That means Evan needs to
stealing the
stop
base.
talking for a second. What's your other game you're playing, Curtis?
I played through Frostpunk 2 on Game Pass.
Ooh, okay, let's
that
pull
was
that
that was a good one. I enjoyed it. I did not play Frostpunk 1. Knew of
This
it, know exactly what it is, but just never played it. Played Frostpunk 2, downloaded it, ran really smooth. I didn't put it on like extreme settings though, because as your city grows, and I saw this on some of the review videos before I started playing it. Hey, that picture looks like Evan. Super pixelated.
Pixelated. Let me find a game screenshot.
So
How is my picture?
right now it's half decent.
It's not bad. You're also like
Yeah.
shrunk down, so
Perfect.
Yeah, so this right here, so this is the like center of your city, the engine that like powers your city, heats your city and stuff like that, right? As your city grows, and it can grow quite a bit, it will grow quite a bit throughout the span of the game. The system requirements drastically increase like really quickly. If you try to keep the game on like extreme or ultra settings or something like that, you're gonna have a real bad time. So I didn't even start it. I think I started on high settings, and at the last probably 20% of the game, I had like pretty significant stuttering. And had to drop it down on medium, but overall I enjoyed it. I played through the story. The story's pretty interesting. I played through it in about 3 days. I played through like on the like the basic difficulty, so like I wasn't trying to play like the extreme, oh my god, how do I beat this kind of difficulty that is pretty much all the other difficulty settings. And even on the basic, the casual setting, it was still difficult, right? So
yeah.
Down on the bottom of the screen there, I loved their UI in general. This is just like a screenshot from in-game, right? So the UI I thought was beautiful, mixed with the the snow that is everywhere from the winter apocalypse or whatever it's called. Blended in really well. Didn't feel like it was tacked on. It just was really well done. My whole overarching goal through this game was, so those people that are down there in the center of the screen are different factions, like different political factions that you will encounter throughout the course of the game. And these are all people that inhabit the city. And then there's also a council, like a parliament, basically, that you have to enact laws through, and you have to like basically do favors for this faction to get them to vote for you, so that you can get what you want passed, for whatever reason, right? Well, there's one faction, they're not actually shown on here just yet, so this is still early on in the game. But there's one faction that was just constantly, did not matter what I did, they they were not happy. They were starting riots in my cities again and again and again, breaking stuff. And so the dudes that are down there with like the hat on, and he's got like most of his white bar filled there. I forget the name of that faction. It's been a few weeks since I've played this. But they're like the pilgrims were the other faction. They come to me, they're like, hey, somebody's killing our people. Like we're just lose people coming in the middle of the night and then just disappear, never to be seen again. I'm like, oh shit, all right. Let's launch an investigation. We can't be having that. Like 2 days later, that dude right there with the red and black jacket comes on. He's like, hey boss, don't worry, we're taking care of these sons of bitches. And I'm like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, don't worry. Don't worry. You just tell everybody that your investigation is complete. You couldn't find any wrongdoing. And we'll just keep making this happen. And I'm like, no, we can't be doing that, guys. But then before I clicked that button, I was like, but hold on, these guys do literally just start riots in my street all the time, breaking the city.
Bad, though.
So actually, you know what? Okay. Investigation found nothing. I think you guys are just making it up. That guy didn't disappear. He never existed. So my mini goal, besides just beating the game, my mini goal was to just have this faction eradicated, because again,
you just hated them so much.
Did not matter what I did, they were pissed off. I could literally, so you could grant favors and stuff like that to the factions just out of the kindness of your heart to bolster relationships with them, right? I would give these guys money. I would let them pick the next laws that we're voting on. These guys were getting like Russian oligarch level, like lavish gifts, and they'd be like, cool, thanks, book you. And then they just like start taking us down, right? And I'm like, are you kidding? So when he came to me, I was like, cool, let's do it. Unfortunately, by the time I beat the game, there was about 900 of them left, so I didn't completely eradicate them.
So you didn't truly beat it.
Yes, exactly. My mini game, I did not unlock that achievement, right? So, but I had a really good time with this. I would definitely recommend it.
Is it full release or was it early access?
It's on Game Pass. I'm pretty sure it was a day one Game Pass.
Oh, release. PC Game Pass.
Yeah, PC Game Pass. Yeah.
Is this your first city builder?
No. I played all kinds of city builders. I hesitate to even call this it is a city builder. I would almost call this more of a management game than a builder, right? Like when you say city builder, to me, I think like City Skylines or SimCity or something like that. Here you're just building districts, which is almost like just dropping in Legos, right? So you're dropping like a district on this, like a housing district on this section of the map, right? It's not like, okay, let me go build a street and stuff like that. So you're more managing the food, you're managing the housing, you're managing the resources that is used to build all this stuff. It's
and it's like Darkest Dungeon and them, where it's like just bad thing after bad thing.
Yeah.
Bad option A or bad option B, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So it doesn't matter what you do, bad things are going to happen. It's just the universe that the game is set in, right? So you just try to mitigate it and then try to eradicate the pilgrims.
Have you played Against the Storm? It's a game.
No.
You should check that out, dude. It's on PC Game Pass. That's like a more of a truer city builder, and the graphic style will probably remind you of like Warcraft 3 or World of Warcraft. But it's really good, and it was recommended by one of our Discord users and listeners, and I checked it out and I loved it. So I actually ended up buying it on Steam so I could play it on the deck as well. This
is actually like World of Warcraft, like art style is exactly spot on. I like that. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll give this a try. It looks cool.
Yeah,
you said it is on Game Pass, right?
PC Game Pass, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so I've heard like some of the complaints that I've heard about this game is that it's just very different from the first one. I think like this one gets a lot, like the first one is about like surviving this like I don't know if it's what kind of winter, this severe cold, this ice age. And then like Frostpunk 2 is about like building a civilization within it, right? Like it's basically an evolution, but it changes the type of the game where it sounds like there's a lot more political management and in this game and I don't think you have as much of that in the first game. You're just like I think keeping your people happy and everything, but it's not like these political factions and things like that. It's more of just like, all right, like mostly you're just trying to manage your resources to keep them from survive or whatever. And like But yeah, it's no, it's interesting. I'm really interested in both of these games, and I think going into like if you play one and going into the other, just expecting a different game, right? Knowing that it's going to be different, it sounds like they're both pretty good games. It looks super atmospheric, right? Like just from visually, like it just feels like, man, you play this game, you just feel like you're just like in this ice age trying to build an industrial city, right? Like, I mean, do you get that immersion, Curtis, when you're playing?
Yeah, man. And so what you're talking about, the storms, I believe they call them whiteouts, and those happen. So one of the buildings that you can set up is basically like a weather tower, and it will so actually up there in the top right of the screen, it looks like they have
those balloon things.
further top right up into the screen where you see the temperature.
Oh yeah.
Right there, yeah. So it's got like that blue temperature drop. Nope.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Sorry,
okay.
I moved my mouse.
Gotcha.
I
Okay,
went to itch
so
my face and moved my mouse.
so that's like your weather update telling you like, hey, we're gonna have another like a cold front coming in, so make sure you have enough coal or whatever tech that you've teched into for heat. Make sure you have enough, otherwise people are gonna start freezing to death. And then so that'll predict like cold fronts and warm fronts that come through, but then also it also predict like those big whiteouts that come through, and those last for a very long time. And when it does happen, you're pretty much just, excuse me, you're like looking at all at like just this snow just whipping across your screen just constantly, and it definitely is pretty immersive. You're like, holy hell, I would not want to be there right now. Like this just is like frigid, and then like the temperature drops to like negative like 40 50 sometimes. Like it's you're just like, no thanks. I see theirs is in Fahrenheit. I had played mine in Celsius, so that's like negative 40 50 Celsius I was talking about. So like
it's a 86 on Metacritic, and user score is 7.8. I wonder if some of that user score is just like the change in expectation, like you said.
I didn't know going in, so I found out afterwards, after I'd already played through and beat this. I did find out afterwards exactly what Evan was talking about, how this was like a different game. So before you can even build anything on the map for like a new district, like whether it's production district or housing district or whatever, you have to do frost breaking. So like you have to select the district, and then they'll send in like these big giant cranes and stuff to like break all the permafrost off so that you can actually build onto that like plot of land essentially. And I guess that was super different compared to how they did it in the first game. And then that's when I first found out, and I did a small amount of reading about like the difference between the two games. Yeah, so I mean, I had a good time with it. I wouldn't go back to play it again. I enjoyed the story. So it follows like a loose story. The game starts, the guy that was basically, they call him the captain, that was basically like the leader of this, dies. He passes it off to you, and then you pick up from there and start running it, right? So I would recommend it. I had a good time with it. I played it, like I said, I beat it over course about 3 days. It was probably, I don't know, 12 maybe 15 hours I played. Played it over a long weekend. Check it out.
I want to try this. I picked up the first Frostpunk and played it, and I tried over and over and over, and I just could not get into it. Like I literally wanted to love it because it's so atmospheric. Like it was cool. I love the concept of like it's kind of grim, like you're trying to survive, and just the gameplay like didn't do it for me. But this being slightly different, I think might be good. So do you want to jump to our next one? I got one more, and then maybe we can do our spooky challenge unless you guys have anything else.
No, that works for me.
Evan? Okay, cool. Evan, could you guess what my game is that I'm going to pull up? Or no?
No. I probably could, but I like the spark is. Oh yeah,
Metaphor Refantazio. So I think a couple of us are playing this, and when I say a couple, I mean in the Discord. Shameless plug for the Discord. There's always a link in the description of our videos, so please, of course, like, subscribe, but join the Discord so we can chat, and we bounce game ideas off each other and have laughs and all that stuff. So Metaphor Refantazio is an Atlas JRPG, as we discussed today in the Discord chat, I think I've only played like 3 Atlas games. So I played Snowboard Kids. Evan's gonna fist pump to that one. He loves it. Back
The
in the
GOAT
day.
Atlas game. That's the best one.
Super Dodgeball Advance, which I think is the GOAT Atlas game because that game was freaking awesome. You guys ever play that? Super Dodgeball
I
Advance?
haven't had to check it out.
Dude, so cool. Game Boy Advance game. It's like 5-on-5 dodgeball and like think of like NBA Jam, like you can get on fire and like you can alley oop the ball over and over to each other. So you're like, you don't know where the ball's coming from. You're tossing it to the next guy and then you whip them in the head. It's pretty cool. And then Persona 5 Tactica, I tried on, I think, Game Pass, and I just wasn't loving it at the time, so I uninstalled it. So I don't have a lot of Atlas experience. I played other JRPG games. I played Ys and stuff like that, but those aren't exactly the same as this. This game is awesome so far. This is actually what we said, it's tied for the highest rated games of the year with I think Elden Ring DLC and Astrobot. All 3 of these games have a 94 on Metacritic and obviously like a super high user score. Do you guys know anything about this game at all?
Yeah,
No.
yeah, sure. So especially with the conversation, because Kurt's not on the Discord, because we've been talking about it a lot, especially with Funk, right? Super Beef. But Funk just finished up Persona 3 Reload and moved into this. So he seems to have some glowing thoughts on it right now. I've played, some Persona 3. I played a little bit of Persona 5. And I'll probably, if I go back to one of these Atlas games, I'll probably go through Persona 3 before picking this up. But yeah, I mean, it's basically Persona, but in a fantasy setting without high school, right?
Yep. So I haven't played the Persona games, right? But I know about them. I think I would agree, and probably like Funk and them would and Beef would agree with that. This it's kind of like playing an anime. Have you played any of these Atlas games, Kurt? Persona or anything?
No, I have not. So I've played like I'm looking at some videos. I actually have this pulled up on Steam right now. Like I've played
Shimigami.
I'm looking at my Steam list right now because I can't remember the series, but like these kind of games I've tried to get into and I don't generally I like them for the first 2 or 3 hours. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna go the distance on this one, and then I just never go back to them.
I will say, I think that Atlas has a flavor of these types of games that nobody else really does. They kind of stand alone in these anime style games, right? You've talked about anime games and stuff, and in the past, but about how they didn't vibe with you. I'm not to say that you would get into this one or whatever, because the Persona series feels like you're playing like a slice of life high school anime game, and then I haven't played the Shimigami Tensei games, but again, those they're all, I mean, they have a very they have a formula for sure, and they vary a little bit, but this seems like somewhere in the middle, leaning on the Persona side, just fantasy.
Interesting.
And I'll give like my amateur take on this, so like people in the Discord jump on me and in the comments like if I'm wrong about this, so I'm not an expert on these games, but essentially a lot of these games like Persona, like you have some type of like alter ego or inner thing you're unlocking, like your persona. In this game, it's archetype, so each character you can unlock a different archetype. So like you can be like a healer and you turn into this like giant like knight, like almost like Gundam style, like knight and shining armor, and each of them is different. So there's like a warrior, a knight, a healer, a mage, and then you can level those abilities up, and then you have a bond between different characters, so you could foster that bond, which gives you new skills within and crossover abilities. So like you can like tag team, right? Like, I'm going to use my knight ability with the mage, and we're going to do like some big fire sword attack or whatever. Story wise, this I don't think there's any spoilers. Like literally at the start of the game, before you even press the A button to start anything, it's basically set in a fantasy world, like Evan was saying. There is a king and a prince, and the king is murdered. The prince is long thought to be dead, but he's basically alive, and only a few people know about it. But he's cursed. He's like stuck in like a coma essentially, and you're playing as a couple of characters that are off to right this wrong, basically kill the guy that did the curse and murdered the king, set everything right, and get the kingdom back the way it's supposed to be. And then there's this ongoing threat of like monsters as well, and there's some interesting dynamic of like fantasy to real life and fantasy novels as well. But it does play like like there's literally anime cutscenes like in this all the time. So you like play like a dungeon or a level, and then an anime cutscene plays, and you just sit back and watch like you're watching like a 5-minute clip of an anime, and it's pretty cool. And there's a lot of voice acting in this. You do get the typical JRPG thing sometimes where they're like, huh, and then it's like a line of dialogue. So they don't have like true full voice acting like a Baldur's Gate, but there is a lot. Super high quality made. I can tell so far the gameplay is pretty cool. It is turn-based, Kurt, so it's not like Final Fantasy in that regard. So like you run around in like an overworld around the map, right? Like, and you can fight guys on this map. If you're strong enough, you could literally just like hit X and like beat the guys as you run around. But if you're not strong enough, or if they ambush you, you hit a button and you go into the turn-based battle from there. But yeah, it's worth checking out. There's like a 3-hour demo.
So like I said, I had Steam pulled up here and I saw that they have a demo for it, so I might check it out. The game that I was talking about for the games, I've tried multiple games. Is the Sword Art Online games, because I love that anime.
Yeah,
they're like, from what I'm seeing on these screenshots, very similar. They're not generally turn-based from what I remember, though. They're more of like the Final Fantasy VII remake stuff. But I mean, demo is free 99, right? So I can definitely check that out.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the Sword Art Online like games on Metacritic, and it's like 58 score, right? So when you like Evan talked about like Atlas, you're talking like literally this is going to be in the top 3 for game of the year versus like something that down in the 60s and 70s score. So that might make a difference. It might not, you know.
Yeah, give it the old download.
Do we want to talk
this one is not in Game Pass, just so you know. So Persona 3 Reload is.
Correct.
Which one's better?
Probably this.
Oh man, okay, so Evan's gonna buy this for me so I can check it out.
So I took away the screenshots for now. Do we want to talk about our spooky challenge? So we had Iapetus, did I say that right? I think I finally said it right.
I hope so. She sent me the
Smackdown.
The whatever the breakdown or whatever, the enunciation, and Iapetus is what I got out of it. I hope that's right.
All I know is I hate her for making me do this challenge.
That's fair.
So she sent us some spooky games to do in honor of the season and Halloween upcoming. So since we're actually able to record right now, we wanted to talk about them. Who wants to go first?
Yeah, so she hand selected, right? A game for each of us, and which is impressive. There's interaction with Mark and I on the Discord, but only taking it from what Curtis has on recordings is I'm curious to see if he played it, because he changed. He backed out of his non-Steam game in the final hour, and so I'm curious to hear if he actually played his or if he just played on ours. But I played Project Cat, Paper Lily Prologue, I think is what it's called. And so all these games were free on Steam. Or all these games are free, and then like I said, Curtis requested one on Steam at the end there, and got one. But I'm looking up on my profile to make sure I got the name of the game right. So it is Project Cat Paper Lily Prologue. Cool. So all these games take like an hour or less, right?
Yeah.
So Project Cat was honestly, like, I think as far as horror games, like, I'm not really into horror games, but I think it was an excellent pick for me. So I was impressed at the ability to match me to a game like that, especially as somebody who doesn't like horror games, but like just getting a feel for my personality. Project Cat was this girl, she's like in high school or something, and she goes in and she's like I think is what it is like she's like a naysayer on all these like ritual, like spiritual rituals, and like like type of medium type of like things and stuff, right? She's just kind of like, oh, none of this is, I don't know if like her perception is that none of this is real, but she like goes through trying to like basically like none of these rituals will actually do anything, or they're all kind of fake. And she's like, I don't know if her goal is to find one that does work, because she kind of gets excited when this one does, that she's doing in the game. But yeah, so she goes in there, and there's like other high school girls or whatever in there, and you kind of have some dialogue with them. You can you get a feel for her like social standing and stuff like that. And then you slowly like you're like, okay, I got to do this checklist for the ritual, and then you eventually do that, right? And then the ritual takes place. I don't know, I guess we're probably just going to get on full on spoilers, right? These games are less than an hour, and
Yeah. So I'm waving for people in the video that might like be, just looking. Spoiler alert: we are going to probably spoil these games. So,
and which is kind of like going into at least mine without knowing any of it was kind of a part of the appeal. But I did so yeah, so the ritual, right? So you're talking to these girls, and like there's like, you walk in, one's literally called the pretty girl, one's called the ponytail girl, and the other one's called the shy girl or something like that. And and they're like, what are you doing here? To Kat is the main character. And and so you're just like, oh, and then you have some opportunity, I think, to like change your social standing with them, and based on your like at least the way that the dialogue and stuff options that I chose, like I just chose, they're just like, they started to like me a little bit, and they're like, oh, screw you, you suck. But because one of them, like one of the checklists is like a tuft of human hair or something like that. And so you get like a pair of, like I'm just exploring the space, I find a pair of scissors somewhere, and I was like, all right, well, and like to use items, you literally just go up to the thing you want to use the item on, and then go into your inventory and just select that item.
Okay.
It's the controls are not like super into like or smooth, I guess. I mean, they're
Yeah.
relatively, but they're so straightforward, and like there's not any complexity to it, that it's not a problem.
Yeah.
So basically I just go up, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna walk up to ponytail girl and hit scissors, right? And then
Cut
so I
her
do that,
hair.
and they're like,
Damn.
what the heck,
Damn.
dude? And they're like,
Cold-blooded,
get
dude.
out of here. Yeah. And they're like, what are you doing? Like, leave. We don't want you here. You're not welcome in this room anymore.
So is it spooky yet so far at this point to you?
No. So you start, so you're doing all this stuff, right?
Yeah. Okay. So when's it
so
get spooky?
I'm gonna take 3 hours to explain a 40-minute game. But,
Yeah. We're not allowing it.
But so anyway, as you approach the final pieces of there's a little bit of creepiness, right, to the vibe, right? You're in a high school at night. The vibe reminds me of this episode of Boy Meets World from back in the day, where like there was like it was a Halloween episode. But anyway, it's just kind of creepy high school at night type vibes,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You're the
yeah.
only ones in high school. There's like some ambient music, and but so like ultimately you got to get like a few of these things for the ritual. There's a little bit of like, oh, this door's locked, then you got to go find a key for the door, and then or find a way to you actually have to talk to those girls to get, one of them's like in the drama club, and you have to get in the drama room, and they're like, so you had to convince them to give you the drama club key. And so you go in there, and then there's like stuff to interact with that I interact with absolutely everything I can, right? That's what I love about like Bethesda games. And so I think I picked up like 10 pieces of chalk, and you really just needed like one. But
Oh my god. That's not the most Evan thing ever, dude.
Yeah.
right.
And then he went and organized his drawers.
But I did I did I do think I unlocked like a couple like rare achievements because of that. But or I unlocked a couple achievements that just had lower percentages on Steam. But from that, but like once you're getting all this, and then like, the closer you get to like you start like putting all the pieces of the ritual in place, and like you have to organize the desks in the 3 classrooms a certain way, and then you have to close all the curtains to all the windows, and then you've got to set these candles out on all the desks in one of the classroom, and then you got to light them, and you got to draw this chalk line and stuff like that.
Man, this game sounds easy as hell.
Dude.
I'm
So,
have
well,
a word with her.
as you do this, right? As you do it, like once you get to the candles and the chalk line and stuff, right? There's a couple times like, oh, I did this part. Now I have to go like do the scavenger hunt for some of the next piece. But once you do some of that, like you do start to like all of a sudden you see like a shadow walk across the window, and then or you're like walking down the hall.
Like signs?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like that.
And then you or you're walking down the hall, and all of a sudden like a window cracks, like shatter cracks, right? Like it starts it's spider webs or whatever. So you get a little
creeped out at all at this point?
Huh?
Are you creeped out at all at this
I'm feeling
point?
the creepy tone, right? I'm feeling the
Okay.
creepy tone.
All right, keep going.
And then I will say there are no jump scares in this game. So like it's not a jump scare game. It's very much an atmospheric type of thing, right? I hope I don't overuse the word this episode because I've already used it once. But yeah, so it's just kind of like Signs is, right? Like Signs, although like the creepy guy walking by the thing almost is a jump scare, right? Like it's Signs, but it's like it's not a like boom, in your face.
Yeah.
So again, this is all what makes it a great pick for me, because like I'm not about the jump scares. I'm not about the like the chase things like in Resident Evil, right, where you're getting chased by
Mr. X.
whatever. Yeah. Mr. X and that's in Resident Evil 2, right? Or the Nemesis in RE3.
Yeah.
So like I've played a few of those games, but I don't like it, right? Like I just not interested in that.
So do you pull off the ritual? Like what happens here at the end?
So you pull off the ritual, and then you start walking down the hallway. You're like, okay, like, oh, and the lights go out, right? You got to turn the lights off or something like that. And then all of a sudden the candles get blown out, and then it says you have to wait there for 100 seconds, and it kind of does like not a montage, but like it's just like, all right, 1, 2, 3.
Is it like a literal 100 seconds?
48, 49. No, it's not.
No, it jumps.
Oh, okay.
It just kind of jumps. Yeah, it jumps like a few seconds at a time or whatever, and it takes maybe 10 seconds.
Oh, okay.
So once you kind of like, okay, you wake up and you're like, all of a sudden you're like in this like basement cellar type thing or something like that. And you're like, what? Where am I? And you're like, the character's still not fully convinced that like this ritual is working. It seems like, and they're like, okay, maybe this is real though. Like it's like, and then you're walking through the halls, and there's like these doors, and you go up to the doors, and like it's like, oh, this door has an interesting pattern, and I'm like, I wonder if I can use the key. There's no keyhole at this door. And and then there's like this like black sludge and stuff, and like all these pipes, right? Like so kind of like I said, it feels like you're in like a boiler room or maintenance or basement. And then there's like you get to one door, and it's just like a normal looking door. And then there's like another one that's all boarded up, and I was like, I have a lighter. I wonder if I can light the planks on fire or burn the planks down. Or
did it work?
It's like, oh, like it's funny because I select that, and it's like, oh, I wonder if I can burn the planks down on this door as the dialogue that pops up on screen. And then it's like, it sits there, like you hear the lighter sound effect or whatever, and then it's like, there's no way I'll burn my hand off before or something before these boards actually catch on fire. There's no use. And then if you try it again, it's like there's no use or something. Like it's just
yeah.
Right. So then I go to the like I'm sitting here and I'm going and I'm going like left across the screen and it just side scrolling and it's just in a loop, like an infinite loop, right? You just kind of like once you get to you just keep cycling through the same doors over and over and over again. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And I spent like 5 minutes. I'm just like going to each door, trying to select. There's like a little wall with some mirrors. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
It's going to be something super simple.
I'm not going to find a freaking guide or anything for this online, right? There's like 30 people who played this game. And one of them just happens to be in our Discord. But so I was like, I don't know. And then I was like, so I start walking the other way. and then all of a sudden when I start walking the way, it was like, hey, I've been here before. Apparently, you just had to walk like a different direction. So it was something simple, but that was a little annoying.
I can't win with these cats.
Yeah, right. So I honestly I can't remember exactly. You end up getting in the normal door. And you end up finding a key. Like I walk and then all of a sudden all the doors disappear. And so everything now you're just walking down this hallway. And then you eventually come up across a key, you take the key, you go open the normal door, and you go through this like dialogue, which I forgot to the very, very opening scene of this game. I forgot to I'll get to in a second. But yeah, you're going through this dialogue through like basically like this demonic narrator, almost like it's like there's no player character on screen or NPC on screen. That's just like a
voiceover. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's all dialogue. It's a pixel game, right? Like it's 8-bit.
Yeah.
That's why she picked this for you.
Yeah,
probably, right. So but anyway, so like you're having this dialogue with this demon so in the very opening scene of the game, you're like in this like field of flowers or something like that. You're just like there's a little cottage, and you try to open the cottage door and it's locked, and you're like, oh, and then there's like 4 pots and 3 of them have flowers in, and then you're kind of walking around, it's like you see this flower, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if I could pick this up. And then I'm like, oh, very much like I was like, okay, I got to go drop this flower in that empty, the 4th pot. Right. And I'm like, this is okay. Like, I get it. Like, it's maybe a little Zelda like, but a little creepy horror type of game. And it was just like, all of a sudden, like you start hearing this voice and it's telling you that like, it's not who's to say that, that wasn't your flower to pick. Why are you messing with somebody's property? This isn't your house. Why are you even trying to get in here? Blah, blah, blah. And then like, it's like, if you keep trying, you will die or something like that, like just something like, basically there would be some kind of consequence. Right. And so that voice comes back, right, once you get through this door in the cellar in the bottom, or whatever. And it's like, I told you, you shouldn't, you should have stopped. You shouldn't have continued, and, but now I get to have my fun or something like that. And like, and it starts talking to you like you're the prey. Right. And, like it basically antagonized you into doing this thing and like just going further into this ritual. And then, your player character Kat is just like, dude, like, I'm going to get out of here, whatever. I'm just going to find the exit. And then like the demon character's like, that's the thing. Like these rituals weren't designed that way. Like they weren't designed with an escape.
They're one way door.
Right. Like I told you to, whatever, like it was just like there's no exit, built. There's no escape button.
Yeah.
There's no self-destruct button. So you're like, oh crap, like, all right, I'm playing this creepy horror game. So I was like, all right, whatever, just keep playing or whatever. And then it just goes through these like psychological type of sequences, right? Like in terms of like, it traps you in like this tiny little room, and you're just like running back and forth. And it's just like, yeah, maybe I should just let you die here. Like just, you're trapped in this room.
It's like torture porn it's turned into, or whatever.
Very, very much. Yeah. And it's like, and so it does these things, and it like, you're walking through these endless hallways, and you go to the next screen. You're like, is this going to be progression in this hallway, or is it just going to be the same hallway again, kind of thing? And then things change. And then like, and then you go back the way you came from, and things are completely different and all this stuff. Right. So all this, and then, so eventually, you go through some of that, and you go through this dialogue, and I'm guessing the dialogue choices are significant, because when I beat the game, achievement, Steam achievement pops up, true ending, like I got the true ending. And then if you look at the achievements, there's like, you got the false ending or whatever. But so I'm like, part of me wants to go back and play it again. I think there's 6 out of 10 achievements, I think. But I did escape. But
nice.
In the meantime, so those girls that were that I cut the hair of or whatever, that outcast me, you're walking, and you finally break through this door, and you're walking, and it's like dark, and you just like, there's like little blood spots and stuff on the floor, and you're walking, and then like they get bigger, and then all of a sudden just like you come across the corpse of one of those girls. And then
Mean
and
Girls
then like
3. Mean Girls 3.
Yeah, exactly. So you come across like each one of these girls is like dismembered, and so it's creepy, right? It's scary. It's a scary game. It's a spooky game, but it's pixel art, so it's like again, not, but it was it had the vibe, right? It just had a very, very like spooky vibe. And I would say A+ recommendation, and it was probably like a 7.5, 8 out of 10 game. It's like for me. But,
Nice.
That's pretty
And
respectable. Cool.
This was a free game, right?
Yeah, this is free on Steam.
Yeah.
I mean, it took.
Okay.
I have 1.2 hours in it, and I think so. Most people could probably beat it in 40 minutes.
I will say that like after we talk about ours, but these shorter games, I'm a little more interested in like trying some of these out now, like these smaller titles. So I think it's really cool. She recommended these, like not even just spooky games, but like
I'm going back and asking for more recommendations, right?
Like
yeah, like
games.
little 1 and 2 hour games. Like I love that type of stuff. Come out of game jams.
Yeah. We found how he has to do it. He's got to find a half-hour game that'll turn into 90 minutes. He can still do that. And get that full experience.
It's the exponential factor, right? So if he can cube it, the play time and still get through.
Every night I sat down to play Zelda. I thought about Curtis, and I was like, you know what? I've got to roll credits on this game before the next episode, so I can just prove to Curtis that I actually beat games. I actually roll credits on.
I love it.
But I did. I got one. It just happened to be a game that took me an hour to beat.
Hey man, credits are credits, bro.
That's right.
I'm happy for you. You've impressed me.
So Evan or Curtis, what were you supposed to play originally?
I genuinely, I don't even know what the title of the game that I was supposed to play.
Okay, so there was multiple steps essentially to install his game. It wasn't like a click install Steam
it wasn't.
thing.
It wasn't like on Steam. It was like you go here, download, and install through there.
A Gracewind Tale, do you copy?
Okay, so
copy louder.
So he was, yeah. How you over? So he did not play that. He came in under the wire, and I said, "Look, you know what? Play the same one as me. I know that wasn't what she recommended to you, but it's super easy to install. It takes like 30 minutes to play."
Yeah. So I like had this game been like a Steam game or something like that, or like a launcher game where like I could have downloaded through, then that would have been fine. But I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna download like some random where essentially. Not saying that it's a virus or something like that, but just wasn't extremely comfortable with
GameJolt.com. I think it's Jolt Cola's game launcher, right?
They pivoted the market.
Do you want to talk about our game first, or do you want me to?
Yeah, so let me go first, because full disclosure, I didn't finish it. Even though that it was only like a half hour. I got legit notes here though.
You did get another game, but it was like
it was already after I had already that came through while I was playing this other one. And with the quality of the game that I was playing, her recommendations were not going to be taken again. So
but it wasn't
you
a
heard that here
recommendation
first. Hot
for
take.
you.
Yeah, that was for me.
Touche. Okay, touche. Well played. Good call. All right, that's a very good point. Yeah, so our game, well, I mean Mark's game, was called. So I'm gonna go through the first half, then you jump in. You want to take the second half, or do you want me to do you want to restart?
That's fine. And I'll pull up a screenshot. So I recorded myself playing this, and I'll talk about it when I time.
Because I also rolled credits on this game.
I just pulled it up on Steam, and I saw that you've got like an hour into the game.
You played this?
He did. Yeah, he's got 51
an hour.
I've got over an hour.
minutes, bro.
This guy's got balls of steel, dude. He's got a heart of iron. I don't know what's going on. Like, how are you playing these?
Yeah.
So I'll pull it.
What's it?
Okay, so this is gives you the atmospherics of the game, like the graphical quality and like the stuff. So Curtis can
visuals on this.
It was cool.
I love that you recorded yourself actually.
Yeah, so we will post this video maybe like mid-cycle between the next two episodes. It's a 27-minute video, so we'll post the spooky and people can watch me crap myself.
Not only did you record yourself playing this, you also are playing it in the dark like a.
That's what she said. She said that was a requirement, dude.
All right. So for reference, I'm so glad that you have this picture actually. So for reference, I like Mark already said, he said, hey, I play my game. I've already finished it. I think you play this one. It'll be good crossroads for you. So I'm like, all right, cool. I pull it up, instantly turn volume off, sound effects off, because I'm not playing to get scared, right? So the fact that you're over
Bro,
there,
you need
no,
that.
hard pass, hard pass. I know how. So not only then I went one step further. I went one step further, and then I minimized the game, and I pulled up relaxation music on YouTube, just like a 3-hour relaxation track. So-
I'm losing it. I'm sorry. First thing I do is turn off the sound in a horror game.
I
so
didn't.
it's like,
I didn't even
what
get
are you
like click
playing?
play
What are
yet
you
till
doing?
till I like I hadn't even hit play when I killed off the music, right? So
Okay.
that's step one. Downloaded it. Super quick download, like 3 minute long download. So that was awesome. So you go you go to the game, takes like what feels like 3 hours to start playing. It's only like 45 seconds, but it feels
Oh,
like
yeah.
3 hours to start playing the game
Yeah.
because it's got like typewriter clacking and it's like pulling up some words on you, but you can't skip it. And so like already my relaxation music needed to it was doing its job because I was antsy. I'm like, let's skip this. Let's roll.
I'm gonna
Yep.
interrupt real quick. I will say that that whoever did that typing needs to take a typing class because they were using one finger to type that.
Yeah, yes, yes, dude. It took so that's my very first note, right? I had enough time to pull out my phone and start taking notes about the game
Love it.
while this was going on, right?
Did we
So
mention the name of the game, by the way? Did we
I
mention the
thought I
name?
did. The name of the game is
I
Clap
think
Clap.
well, Nightmare Files Clap Clap. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you pull it up. You pull
It
it
was
up
really
on
about 30 seconds. To get to the
Steam says
yeah.
Clap Clap, but yeah, it's like an
Okay.
anthology
That's like
series.
the full.
This guy's
Oh, okay,
guy or
okay.
girl's gonna do more than
If you
one.
rolled
But
credits,
anyway.
you would have known.
You're not wrong. Touche.
All right, keep going, keep going.
Yeah. So the next thing I have written down here, I'm not going to say this. The next note I have here is about the graphics, right? I'm not going to read what my note says, but look at these graphics, okay?
Beautiful.
Like Unreal 5, like Unreal 0.5, bro. Like this is like ouch,
I
okay?
was just saying, I feel like it nailed this like 90s era 3D PC.
Yes, like a 3DO type game,
Like-
but it's intentional, right? It's
Yeah.
it's an artistic decision to you bring the quality down and it brings the scare factor up because you can't quite tell, you can't quite see.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like a little indie dev, right?
If you're
Yeah.
if you're watching this on video, right? Like the picture that Mark has, this isn't just some like blown up low res JPEG.
This is the actual game.
Actually that grainy, right?
I wonder
Yeah.
if I hit the
It's,
play button if this will go. Oh yeah, you guys
Oh,
can
yeah,
see
there
me.
you go.
Oh
Yeah.
snap!
oh
I'm
yeah.
not, I'd
Um,
say like going into the dark here. Nah, I'm not about it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
just
The
play
whole
this while we're
premise of
talking
this
about it.
game, because I don't think I mentioned it. You get in here. The game. Well, yeah, I don't. I'm jumping ahead. So, you finally get past the one finger typing of the opening thing, right? You're on the sidewalk and you just walk up to a random guy at his mailbox in the middle of the night. You're like, "Hey, bro, I'm supposed to be house sitting for somebody," and the guy turns around. His name is Marlo Botovsky. So I was like, "What is this? Some sort of Russian Manchurian candidate training program?" Like, I know we're playing commie games now, but okay, sure. He's like, "Oh yeah, that house is like 3 days down or three houses down. You can go over there." It's weird though that like he didn't ask me to house it for him because he normally does. We call that a clue.
Right.
So you're like, okay, cool. So then as I'm walking over to the
real
house
quick,
that I'm
that guy, right? It's like
Yep.
you remember those like the camera that you could get on like the PS2 and original Xbox or whatever, and like
I
you
can't.
could scan your face and like for
Yep.
like creative player in the sports
It,
games
like,
or something. Dude,
peels it
that
across
is what
the
happened
block.
with it, dude. I
Yes.
loved it. That was
Yes.
so great, dude. I thought
That's
it was
awesome.
like it looked like a picture of a guy, but it's a low res picture of a guy.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. So you walk down a couple of houses to the house that you're supposed to be house sitting for. I believe if I remember correctly, he basically like found this posting on Craigslist. You never even met the dude.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, cool. I'll go house sit for you, guy that I've never met before. And
Yeah.
like you'll hide your key in the plants in the backyard." So that's the next thing, right? You get to the house and it's like pops up. It's like, oh yeah, homeboy told me that he was gonna leave the key under the plants for me. So you roll into the backyard, find the key, pick it up. What irritated me, can't use the key on the back door. Got to go back around to the front of the house to use the key that you just picked up. I'm like, really?
Yeah,
Like I'm right
yeah.
next to the door.
So if you go back there before you go up to the front door, the key's not there.
Correct.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, now we know why Evan took an hour to play this game. He's bug testing it.
Right.
So yeah, so you get the key, you come around the corner, and then there's a list of chores. Like you go into the house and there's like, cool, here's a list of chores for you to do while you're house sitting. Like,
was one of them organizing drawers for Evan?
Unfortunately, no. I wish.
You gotta. I don't have the. I didn't write down all the chores, but I believe it was pick up the mail, water the plants, and take out the trash.
Yes, that's right.
And
then PSS, you can eat the food in the fridge.
Yes, which you open the fridge. There's nothing in the fridge.
It's just slabs of meat.
There were.
I had nothing in my fridge. There was nothing in the fridge.
True.
Look at this guy. He went through multiple different endings.
Did you develop this game?
So I opened the fridge like right after I read the chore list. Slabs of meat and then like a carton of milk or something. There was like a
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola. That's what it was. Yeah. And then it was just like literally just slabs of raw meat just sitting on plates. And I was like,
oh, it was some Dexter shit, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was, which kind of like clicked later or whatever, it just kind of hit me later. It's probably like what the implication was. But then later in the game, I opened up that fridge, nothing's in it.
Nothing. So I had nothing when I
keep
at
going,
the point in time that I opened the fridge, I had nothing. But anyway, so you go in there. The first chore was water the plants. So you got to find where the no waypoints in this game, mind you. You're just stumbling around trying to find a watering can. Finally found a watering can that was miraculously already filled, sitting in the garage.
Infinitely filled.
Infinitely, yes, exactly. The next note that I had, so you got to go water the plants in this dude's backyard. And the next note that I had is it's way more fun to water plants in Animal Crossing than it is this trash. So when I finished watering the plants, there's like 5 little bushes you got to water. I just threw the watering can in the backyard. I was like, screw this guy. I'm not putting his crap back in his garage. And then it took me way too long to figure out how to open doors in this damn game, because you don't just click on it, right? For some reason, we're gonna pretend that we're doing like VR now, right? Yeah, now I gotta click and like so that was a personal.
I played this on Steam Deck. And Mark, did you play this on Steam Deck?
Oh no, I would have thrown my Steam Deck.
No. Oh yeah, that's right.
No.
You did say you said that. That's right. Yeah, no. It's dude, as bad of an experience as the controls and stuff are on PC. The Steam Deck was, I had to so there's no button layout. First off, like it just kind of takes a generic map button layout. So I had to mess with all the button layout and stuff. But I had to use like the trackpad to open those doors, right? You have to click, or the joystick, but I had to click in R3 and then also move the joystick to open things and stuff. It was a terrible experience.
So all right, so we're all unanimously agreed that the door opening was just a pain. So you water the guy's plants, you go take out take out the trash next.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so go, you pick up the trash, and it's got like a bunch of bones sticking out of the trash. It's very clearly like you're disposing of the remains of some other dude, right? And then you go pick up the mail. You open the mail, and the mail's like, oh, somebody's missing, and he was last seen house sitting. And your guy's just like, oh man, how do you get killed from house sitting? That's pretty wild.
Anyway, let's go back to house sitting.
Yes, exactly. Got a job to do. So you go back into the house, and then as you go back into the house, some Russian version of the FBI shows up called FIB, and so your guy like whips around real quick, That probably would have been scary, but I had relaxation music going on, so
Bro.
it was not too
I'll
bad.
tell you about my experiences. I can go
I
ahead.
can't wait,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
So that guy's there. He also had a Russian name, so like I said, dude, common game here.
Thought this was
And
America.
exactly. So I talked to him, and he's like, "Hey, you know anything going on around here? Some strange shit going on around here, bro." And I'm like, "No, man, I'm just house sitting, but everything seems on the up and up. Even though I've been here for like 3 minutes, this seems like a pretty swell neighborhood. Nothing bad going on around here." Despite all of the books that are laying around the house, like saying
the bones and
like
the trash
the
that I just
titles,
threw out.
yeah, the titles of the books are like how to kill a house sitter, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
uh, so that was funny. And then it's like, all right, cool. My chores are done. Let me go to sleep. So my guy gets a bowl of cereal and then takes it upstairs, and just drops it in the bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then gets in bed. And I thought that was hilarious to me. So then you're sleeping. The TV pops on a bunch of like static, right? And then the next thing is like, oh, you better go find out what's going on. And I'm like, oh yeah, better not. So get up, start opening doors because again, like it doesn't give you waypoints or anything, right? So I went downstairs, and then when I came back upstairs, even with the music off, there was like this little creepy Joker dude in the window of one of the rooms, right? And he's like right, he like slides off the screen like that, and I'm like, oh, cool, okay, awesome. So then
Right. And the whole
I'm
point
like,
of the game, by the way, is like, I don't know if we said this before, but like it's the clapper, right? So like you hit a button
yes,
and it claps the lights on or off. So like
yep,
the lights are toggling on and off when they shouldn't be
the whole
and
time,
crap
yeah.
like that. Yeah. So you got to clap the lights on.
Which, by the
So-
way, was when I realized that the Steam Deck didn't have a proper mapping because that button was not mapped.
Oh my god.
I'm
Miserable.
running around this dark house, and I'm
Oh,
like, there's got to be a way to. I was like, this game's called Clap Clap. Like, they talked like Milo or Marlo or whatever talked about the home automation or whatever. I was like,
Yep.
there's got to be a clap clap system to get the lights on. I was like, why can I
Evan's
not put the
clapping in the mic in real life.
So eventually, like I got something that was like push E to clap or whatever, and I was like, I don't have E mapped, and so or whatever letter it was, and so I had to remap that. That was the first one I had to remap, and then the second one, or at least one of the other buttons was shift, which was run.
Okay. Yes, shift. Yeah, you could run. Yeah. So so I go up there, and homeboy's like creeping in the window. I'm like, nope, hard pass. Turn around, go into another room, and then he's creeping in that window too, or now, right? So I'm like, nope, getting out of here. Turn around, and then there's a door that was in the top of the house that was locked. You couldn't go into. It said like no entry or something like that, right?
Yeah. Like
And
danger.
yeah, and so now the door has been blown off the hinges, right? And I'm like, what? So at this point, I was like, nope, I'm just gone. So I went downstairs to go out the front door. That's on the picture right here. Locked. Won't let you out.
Yep.
Like, okay, cool. But then I had to check 3 or 4 times to make sure I just wasn't screwing up the stupid door opening controls before I realized that it was actually locked.
Well, there was a sound effect that you would have heard.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I had the the sweet rain and river going on. Like that was nice. Some bugs chirping. So I go back upstairs and into the blown off door room, and it's just like a murder room. There's like big claws, claw marks, or blood spots and stuff on the wall. Like the dresser drawers and stuff are pulled out everywhere. And I'm like, all right, cool. That checks out. And I don't remember what the objective is at this point. But so like I go out, and once this occurs, all of the lights go out in the house essentially, right? So every time you go into a new room, you got to use the clapper to turn the lights on. So I went into one room, clapped it, nothing happened. I went into another room, and then the clapper or the clap trap or the clap, whatever the hell the dude's called, I don't know. He's like this big giant monster there, right? And he's like, oh, and so like it pops up, it's like, run, you gotta run, but all the lights keep turning off every time I'm trying to. You can't, when the lights turn off, it's just pitch black. It's not like,
Yeah.
oh, I can see silhouettes or something. It's just like you got a black screen. So then I'm hitting clap trying to run, but I can't find anything because it's all dark, right? So every time I hit Q, then the lights go back off.
There you go. See, it says run.
Yes, exactly,
Yeah.
right? So I'm
so
trying to run.
This is when I discovered I didn't have shift mapped.
Evan just wanted to play hard mode. so I died in here 4 times because like the I could not run because the screen was dark. It was just black. And then I would clap, and then the clap monster, who was also black, would just be on top of me, further making my screen just black. So after 4 different iterations of this, and me like trying to angle off going into the room several different ways, right? Just so this is where my time with clap ended, and I just immediately uninstalled it.
You played like 90%, dude. So this screen shot I have up here is the window that you have to go out. It's the window by the front door. That's how you get out.
Okay. So I was almost there.
Yeah, you basically did. Yeah. I will. Yeah, do you have anything else about the game? You liked it? You didn't like it?
I mean, I wouldn't play it again. However, I will say I do agree with you that I would be this dude. This is the Russian #1 right here, dude. So I do agree with you that I think oh, actually, since you have it pulled up here, I hated the fact that the continue the dialogue, the button was skipped.
Oh, dude, I had no idea. You'll see in the video, I'm like clicking and stuff.
I just assume skip is like, oh, skip this part, and I'm like, I don't want to skip
exactly.
This part.
Yeah. So like I'm hitting like space bar, I'm clicking the thing, I'm hitting enter, I'm hitting the like E and everything. And finally I was like, all right, cool. I guess I just won't figure out what the story was. And then clicked it, and then it just popped up.
I'm just assuming I don't have the right Muppet button map.
But so yes, ultimately I mean I wouldn't play this one again, but I am actually having done this like more interested into check out more like one sitting games, right? So this one literally pops up at the menu, and it's like, yo, this game is meant to be played in one sitting. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And so like Mark said, you beat it in about a half an hour. Sounds like I would have been right about that half an hour if I could have gotten past like the blackout issue I was having. But yeah, like a 30 to 40, 50, 60 minute one sitting game, I'd definitely be down to try more of these, ideally not in the horror genre, because
the trash can you just passed, Mark, in the
game?
There's an achievement for opening it.
Oh my god, this guy.
It's
unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So those are my thoughts on this. Again, apologize I couldn't get the one that was originally assigned to me, but like I said, I am happy that this occurred, because I didn't actually even know like this little kind of like one sitting, maybe 1 hour long little game was kind of like like this little indie genre. So I'll definitely be checking out some other stuff in that same vein.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff that comes out of like game jams and stuff like that, like 48-hour or 1 week game jams, and I think this might even be one of those. So.
How do you feel, Kurt, like about like creepy but not horror games?
Creepy but not horror.
They're pretty atmospheric, right? I was just gonna say like What Remains of Edith Finch and Gone Home are like Gone Home screams like, oh, this is gonna be a horror game. The whole time you're playing it, you're anticipating a jump scare, but there's never actually. It's not a horror, like it's just a creepy tone game. But like it just you're in this like old house, and you can beat that in like an hour or two. So it took me like 3, and that
hold on. Let me. My man just walked backwards into a dark house that he's never been into before. Like you also gonna go take candy from the guy in the van, bro? Like what?
Yeah, I'll give you my thoughts in a second. Evan's still going. So
sorry, I just watching his gameplay. Please,
right.
Continue.
As you watch the video, yeah, the react. But yeah, no, it's oh, could you go in? I was like, could you go in there? You could.
Yeah.
I tried this 50 times, dude.
This is the way I went.
Nice. Yeah. So the audio listeners are just gonna hate us, but yeah. So Gone Home, and then Edith Finch is probably more like a 3-hour game, 2-3-hour game, maybe.
Okay.
But that one's really cool. That's not like super like there's not like it doesn't feel like a horror. It's just like a dark and rainy and like the story is like I mean a sad story. It's about death, but
Okay.
it's like you go through your old like family home that's been passed down for generations. It's been built onto and built onto and built onto or whatever, and you go through your family tree's death stories. But
Okay, that's
super interesting. Both of those games also Iapetus. I don't think she recommended them to me, but I think that was like that sparked conversation with us in one of our earliest episodes, about a year or so ago, where like she was curious, like like my thoughts and stuff, and those are games that have stuck with me. Especially Edith Finch to me is one that definitely stuck with me. That has a really interesting way to tell a bunch of different stories.
All right, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
Mark found his chore list here.
Yep. So this was my assigned game. So I'll finally talk about it. It's only been 35 minutes. A lot of the same. You see me clapping here. A lot of the same thoughts as Curtis. I did not turn on relaxation music. I was directed to play this in the dark. I know my wife had input on this game, so I'm very angry at her too, because I put us ask her, what is the things that she's scared of most, and that's how she picked this game. So not happy about that. If I could make her sleep on the couch, I would, but I don't have that power. Here's the fridge. So yeah, if you open that, it's got meat. Just meat. So yeah, this game, spooky, played it about 30 minutes. Like I said, I recorded this, I'll upload it. I took the approach of I did not play this at night. I went to bed, got up at 4 a.m. and then played this so I couldn't have nightmares. So I played that earlier today at 4 a.m.
Yeah, much better than what I did last night.
So I tried to cook the meat here. So my second strategy was all these dark rooms I walk into backwards so that I can't be scared if something pops up in front of me. So you'll see as I go through this video. I'm just
I love that.
Yeah, so I might even do it here. I don't know. Like I'm juking the doors and stuff, and I'm like jumping back and forth. And,
this guy's bouncing around more than Rainbow Six guys, dude. I love
Oh
it.
yeah, dude. Oh, I went into that one straight, but I think after this, I start going into every single one backwards. I didn't have a problem with the graphics. Generally, don't have that type of issue. I get it. It's like some indie dev made this and adds to the atmospherics. I was pretty creeped out the whole time. The FBI guy messed me up, man. The FIB dude, because it was a jump scare. Did it jump scare you?
No, that one didn't jump scare me because again, I think probably because I had the sound turned off. But the dude in the window jump scared me for sure. I don't know if sound effects with the window guy, but that one I was like, oh, phew.
Yeah, I'm not going to show it here because I want people to watch the video, but you're going to get some massive screen shake when you watch me do this because I literally am shaking the mouse.
I think you hit a different point. Hit him in a different point, Curtis, than I did. Mark, so when I was taking out the trash, the bag of bones, I opened up the door and boom, pops up right in this. Right in front of the screen.
Yes, and it makes a noise.
I'm holding a bag of bones, and he's like, "So you seen anything suspicious?" No, man, I'm just taking out the trash.
Yep. No, I'm just house sitting, man.
He says, "I'm just taking out the trash." This bag of bones that I was just like, "Oh,
this
I wonder
bag
what's
of
in
remains."
there.
This right here. How to kill a housekeeper.
Yes.
So I hate stuff like creeping into view, like Signs-esque, right? Like walking by, that's pretty bad. But like creeping into view and just freaking staring at you, dude, like not about it, especially with these like jump scares and turning the lights on and off. The game was well designed. It's pretty cool for what it is. I like that a lot. So the things that really got me in this was FBI guy jumping out. When you wake up from the sleep and then that door's busted open and you got to go explore through there. And then when you get to the rubber ducky parts and then the monsters like coming after you and stuff, dude, not about it. Not about it at all. Here, I'm going in all these backwards. And then
dude, I love that you had a strategy for this. This is incredible.
Yeah, go backwards everywhere.
So Yeah, I definitely like the FIB dude jumping out is definitely like the most jump scare part of the game, right? And for me, because like once you've got the monster chasing you, to me, like it's all happening so fast. Like
Yeah.
the you're just kind of casually doing something. That was like what really made the FIB guy one good. And then like once you see the door blown off and you wake up and you're like, all right, here it comes. We're getting into it now. You know this is a short game,
Yeah.
and then you're at that point you're just running, right? Your goal is run.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
like you just expect jump scare at every moment.
Yeah, so you'll notice like I left all the doors open too. There are random sound effects that happen in this. So when you hit
I
to
wouldn't
water
know.
the back flowers, there's footsteps on the other side of the fence. And it freaked me out. I'm
Oh,
like, are those
okay.
footsteps in like real life? Or are they like in the game? Or like and I was backing away from the fence. Another thing that freaked me out, just like a spooky vibe thing, was that pizza was on the counter, right? And
Yeah.
I think when you go out to get the mail or something like that and come
It
back,
disappears,
the pizza's
right?
on the entertainment stand, like the coffee table
Yeah.
Okay.
and the Coke. So like somebody was
Yeah.
sitting there eating and drinking it.
Wasn't there was something that was moving when you went like when you were coming back from the mail, right? Or from the
That
trash or something, right?
that sounds right
In the
too. Yeah.
window.
Well, I'm about to get the mail
Can,
right here. So
can you like reverse your video just for like 10 seconds?
yeah,
I
you want
just
me to go
noticed
back?
this. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
As you come out the door here,
yeah,
the main door, the door to the outside.
yeah. It's about to
Uh
go. I think I jumped like 20 seconds.
But I think we got a different type of
Uh-huh.
content that we've discovered that we could do
Oh,
on
right
this
yeah.
episode.
Yeah. So what you want it when I go out the front door?
Yeah.
I think I'm about to
Um
right here.
yeah, I think you're gonna
Again,
go right out.
apologies to the audio listeners right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, audio folks.
This is a good time to like and subscribe on YouTube, audio listeners.
Genius. Yeah, so
Okay,
right
right
here, you pan to the right here in a second. Clap on the
Yeah.
billboard. That's pretty
Yeah.
awesome. I didn't
Yeah,
notice
yeah.
that before. I
There's
love it.
empty boxes of like clap and stuff too.
Yeah, I
Um,
did notice that.
Yeah, so those things freaked me out. The monster itself freaked me out. And like, yeah, sometimes you'll clap the lights on and then you hear and the lights go out. And just that sound was bothering me. And I think I happened to message my wife or something today because I was doing something this evening before she went out for dinner. And she freaking clapped, dude. She was like, clap. And like she clapped, and I was like, I had a PTSD, dude. Like it made me jump a little bit. I'm like, whoa. But overall, yeah, like the game was really cool. We'll post this video for people to like laugh at me and all that. But yeah, here's me running at the end. I'm Forrest Gumping it, dude. At this point, I'm going the whole way out. Like I'm not even looking back to see if this guy freaking is still chasing me or not. Clap. So anyway, I'm gonna close that out. But yeah, overall, it's like cool little project. Glad we did the spooky stuff, and I'd be down to do that again next season. And try out more short games.
Yeah, for sure. So there's a scene that I'm guessing neither or part of the game that neither of you discovered. So the first thing I did,
It's like a whole nother game in there.
Golly,
yeah.
man.
So the first thing I tried to do when I started that was like run off the map, right? Or like just again the house is to the left. I'm going to the right, right? First off, I tried to turn around. I tried to turn around and leave the cul-de-sac, and there was like a just an invisible wall. But so then I was like, all right, well, I'll just go the opposite way then that I was facing. And so I started going off to the right of the map, trying to check out the other houses, fall off the map. And it was just like there up a dialogue comes up and it's like, oh, I see you've found the edge of the map and you've now fallen off the map. Welcome to hell or something like that. And then dude, you show up in hell. Like there's like
What?
Yeah, there's a secret stage.
Dude, he found the secret cow level, bro, before he even started playing the game.
Oh my god,
And
no.
dude, and I'm just like walking around this thing and just trying to figure it out. Now I'm like wondering, like, could I have done more things if I would have had the appropriate buttons mapped? But because this was my very first attempt at playing the game, right?
I'm blown away.
And yeah, so now you're gonna have to go check it out. But yeah, no, I want, and it's like a big red like dungeony looking room or whatever, level. And so I'm like walking, it's dark, it's got all the same like gritty texture and everything, so you're just kind of doing that. And then like there's this like dark corner and I was like trying to navigate that. There's like a doorway that's like it has a glow around it and everything, and I was just like, okay, maybe I'll go there, but that's where they want me to go, so I'm gonna go other places first. And so then I finally I was like, all right, I gotta go through the doorway. There's not really anything else to see, so I go through the doorway, and then there's just this massive monster. And he's not as horrifying as like the Slenderman or whatever that you're the claptrap monster, but it's just but he's massive. Like he's a huge, he looks like a boss, a dungeon boss or something. And then and then all of a sudden I'm back at the start screen, the title screen.
I wonder if Iapetus knows about this. Like, if she knows this, or she's going to be blown away that you found this level. I just made the biggest mistake of my life. I tried to Google secret level for that game, and the monster just appeared everywhere. The Slenderman guy. So it's almost 2 a.m. where I'm at, and I'm probably just not going to sleep. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. I played this game right before I went to bed. I'm going upstairs, and I'm like, something's in the tub.
We are kind of approaching 2 hours, so why don't we round out with maybe the partner preview, since that just happened and is super recent. So I'll pull that up.
Sure.
So we had the Xbox partner preview, about a 25 to 30 minute, just pretty much trailers of games, some news, some we knew kind of were coming, so some reminders, but some cool stuff here. So maybe we'll just go left to right, top to bottom, and talk about each one. So Alan Wake 2, The Lake House. Neither of you have played Alan Wake 2 yet?
Nope. Correct. No interest.
Nope. A lot of people are super excited about this DLC. I just bought Alan Wake 2 on Epic Games Store, as much as that pains me, but it was $25. Like, it's probably not going to get that cheap. It's not a game that's on Steam because Epic paid to publish it, or helped fund the development. And there is a $10 upgrade path to the deluxe edition, which includes all the DLC that's going to come out and stuff. So for $35, you can have the whole shebang, and that's probably I don't know, $80, $90, whatever. So looking forward to trying that one out. Remedy's games are awesome. Chronos: The New Dawn. Did you guys look at this one?
Remedy's, right? You said no. Remedy's the other one.
Alan Wake's Remedy's.
Yeah.
You know.
And they finalized with Remedy.
Chronos was the trailer. It was this BioShock style dude sitting there playing chess with this old lady, and then it would flash him to Dead Space style monster stuff, right? Horror-esque game. Pass.
And it's sci-fi. I think the premise is that they go back in time to save people that couldn't make it to the current timeline, is what I read.
Okay.
Could be interesting. Evan, any thoughts on this before we jump to the other one?
No, yeah, it looked cool. But yeah, nothing major.
Yeah. Blind Fire. So this is a shooter game where the lights are out. The majority of the time. Cool concept, I guess. I just don't know if it's going to take off. What do you guys think when you saw this one?
It took me a minute to even recognize, just the way that they ran the trailer, to even recognize that this was a multiplayer style game.
Yeah.
So I believe at the end of the trailer it said the open beta tester or whatever was live now. So if it's on Xbox, if it's only PC, I probably won't check it out. But if it's on Xbox, I'll give it a try, just because something. A new take on the FPS genre. You don't see that very frequently, so give it a try at the very least if it's on console.
Yep. Nothing. Okay. Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. So I think the text that we got from Curtis was how much cocaine did somebody do to make this game or something like that.
This game was the trailer for this game was just an acid trip and a half, dude. Like the Beatles didn't even use this much acid when they were talking about Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. All right, dude. I don't know who I swear to God, this was the way that this was presented. I was like, oh, some billionaire's kid was like, I want to make a game, Dad. And Dad's like, whatever, as long as you're not buying me, here's a checkbook. And this is what the kid came up with.
Yakuza is a super popular series, man.
Yeah, I say one of these games. I'll try one of these games.
Yeah. Which is a friendly reminder, Yakuza. Or I guess it's not Yakuza, right? Like a Dragon is in the same series. Like a Dragon Ishin is leaving Game Pass, is what I'm trying to say.
To maybe. It's that's on the
It's not confirmed.
No, it's not on Xbox Wire. It's like
Yeah,
on
okay.
it's like the term is ending up for it, but
Yeah,
oftentimes like you'll see games in that selection get renewed.
got it. Okay. Mouse PI for hire. What do you guys think of this?
Dude, this look cool. I mean, it looks like Cuphead, the first person shooter, right?
Yeah, it is a cool concept. I can't see myself playing this more than like
Same.
just to try it. But I'm all about it and I applaud it. I think it's really cool. All right. The heavy hitter of the show for us, I'm sure. Subnautica 2 co-op enabled.
Co-op action.
This is the first one that'll hit
we-
Game Pass.
Yeah,
And
are
this
we
in the
excited
show.
about this?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, like I said with the text, they really didn't iterate very much / if at all on with like the Frozen
The
expansion,
below
right?
zero
So
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if they don't like do something different, maybe I don't know, maybe they're gonna add like some actual storyline into this one or something, right? Versus
Yeah.
you reading data pads like the first one. I love the first one. I played the hell out of the first one. But unless they do something
Same.
different that's like not just letting you do it with a buddy, probably won't play it, or at least not a ton.
Curtis, you love graphics, and this is a substantial visual upgrade, I feel like, from the first
I
one.
Yeah, I
well,
agree.
we didn't actually see any gameplay though. This was all like
Okay.
like cinematic.
Well,
At
maybe
least
that's
I don't
why.
remember it like popping up like saying in-game footage on any of
Right.
the video when it was playing. So
I'd have to check again. I thought it did, but maybe
Yeah.
I'm wrong. I agree though. Below Zero was like it did way too much stuff on land. Like it lost like what was special about the first game.
yeah,
And
exactly.
in Subnautica 2, like obviously we were all begged to play Subnautica 1 together because we were running
Mhm.
through at the same time. So co-op very welcome, but I would agree it's gotta let's see what new stuff there is here too, right?
Yeah. Because even
So-
like the like my thing about it was the whole game was to escape from the planet, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what happened when you beat the game, if I recall correctly. And now we're back on
It just happened.
assumedly
It happened
another
again.
planet, and we have like the
Full of
same
water.
wildlife and everything, right? So like if we're on another planet, how has this planet got like the exact same kind of fish and leviathans and stuff like that, right? So
Yeah.
or
The
reapers or whatever
Leviathans.
they call it, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I was hoping to see different, sea monsters and stuff like that in the trailer. Maybe they're actually in there, but the trailer itself was just kind of a lot of the same, just really overhauled.
Yeah. All right. Animal Well, the Donkey's published game. He didn't develop it, right? He published it.
No. Yeah, he just published it with Big Mode. His first.
Yeah.
I
So
think this is his first.
kind of surprised to see this coming, right? Because he hates Xbox. Like he trash talks Xbox a lot. And that's part of the reason it wasn't on here at first. I think his comment or reply was like, "It's not justified. Like it's not enough people play Xbox."
And now it's on Xbox. But he narrated the
well,
whole
I'm sure there's
trailer
like
for it.
money. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was very dunky about it too, right? Shadows, and shadows in the shadows.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. It's a cool
but,
trailer. The game's supposed to be good. I mean, obviously it's out on other platforms. I've got it on my wish list to play. It's just
yeah. This is a game I think I'll love once
I don't have it yet.
Yep.
Eden Zero. Nothing for me
Yeah.
on this one. I wasn't
Same.
entertained.
Yeah.
Eternal Strands.
The next one on Game Pass. So this is the second game on Game Pass out of this.
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna pull those up too here at the end.
I think this looked
Miss
interesting.
Fall
Now
Hunter?
I'm trying to.
Miss Fall Hunter, I thought looked interesting. I think I even
might have
messaged about it.
confused the two. I'm looking at the. Okay, yeah, I think I screwed up Mistfall Hunter and Eternal Strands in my mind.
Yeah, so Miss Fall Hunter.
This was like the one that was like Souls-like style, right?
Yes, I believe so, but it's an extraction.
Yeah,
It's a PvPvE extraction type
Yes.
RPG.
So I'm interested to see how that works because like the combat and stuff like that looked like Souls-like-y, right?
Yeah.
And in those kind of games, like the timing and everything is like everything for your parries or your dodges, etc.
Yeah.
And so if this is like an online extraction kind of thing, I'm super curious because I love me some extraction games. Me and Mark played the absolute hell out of Rainbow Six Extraction.
Yep.
And I mean, I just loved every second of that game. Obviously, two completely different style games here, but particularly the combat style, I'd be looking more look a little more interested in seeing.
Yep. Wheel World. I think I posted in our Discord that this game has Evan written all over it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if you did or not, but it definitely. I mean, it's got the visually, it looks like Dungeons of Hinterberg, right? Like it kind of takes that same art style. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to this one, and I think this one's also going to be on Game Pass, right? So
Yeah. Yeah, it's all about riding your bike.
sounds good, dude.
Phasmophobia release. I think this got delayed out. Somebody in our Discord was saying interested in Phasmophobia after our spooky game challenge.
Yeah, this has been on PC for a while, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I saw this one and I was like, oh yeah, I remember my wife watching some streamers play this one, and I said, no way in hell I'd ever play that. These people are crazy.
Okay, how about The Legend of Babu?
Yeah, this looks like a cool action adventure game.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. A little action adventure game.
It kind of made me like a little bit of like Zelda or Immortals Phoenix Rising, and then like mixed with like a little bit of like Last Guardian. It kind of probably because of the companion, you know. I mean, Last Guardian's a much bigger companion animal or whatever, but yeah. Or was it Kenna and the Bridge of Spirits? Maybe is a game I'm thinking of, but yeah, it looked good. It looked good.
To me in the trailer, like I thought it looked pretty decent, but also like it literally looked like copy and paste of like every action RPG or action adventure mechanic you could think of. Like
it didn't set itself apart. I don't think.
Yeah. Next one is what? Wu Chain Fallen Feathers. I thought this was like one of the games of the show. I know it was a small show, but this game looks legit. Another new studio. I also think maybe Chinese. But the game looks good, I thought.
Agreed. I don't know that I will actually play it, but I thought the trailer looked cool.
This is also Souls-like, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think you like. I don't want to say exactly. Yeah, Souls-like story. Yep.
We had all these Chinese W letters started. Like we had Wolong, Wukong, and Wu Chang now.
Oh man, they're gonna mess this up. But the enemy design and level design in that looks super awesome. Same as like Black Myth Wukong, right? Maybe just the lore lends itself to that. These fantastical creatures. So the big surprise of the show was FBC Firebreak. So this is a Remedy game set in the Control universe. Well, granted, it's like all a shared universe, but in the Control piece. So FBC would be Federal Bureau of Control. Firebreaks. This is a 3-person multiplayer game. What do you guys think of this one when you saw it?
I didn't really know what I was watching. Honestly, I was like, the dudes in their suits. Like I had no idea what I was watching when I saw this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what Remedy does with the multiplayer game. You know,
yeah, I am too. Yep,
they have quite a pedigree, right? And I haven't like really dove into any of their games, but I was thinking about diving into Control. Yeah, this one looks like I'm curious to see. You know, a lot of people love the Remedy games, and like bringing a multiplayer game into the Remedyverse sounds intriguing.
Yep, 100%. Definitely will be keeping my eyes on that one. As you can see, I pulled up a quick image from Reddit coming to Game Pass. So out of those games we just talked about, Subnautica 2, Eternal Strands, Wheel World, Wu Chain, excuse me, and Firebreak are coming to Game Pass. I mean, those were probably the ones that we picked out, just the three of us running through that. So that's cool that those are all coming to Game Pass.
Yeah. Eternal Strands, I'm surprised. Like, you like Shadow of the Colossus, right? Yeah, this guy, I mean, like it looks like very much like Shadow of the Colossus style game, right? Like with, you know, visually it's a little more colorful and stuff than obviously than Shadow. It's
I'm pulling it back up. Let me look. Oh yeah. Yeah, this will look cool. I'm going to check it out since it's on Game Pass for sure.
Absolutely.
right. But yeah, like I said, Subnautica is probably the highlight of the show for us, right? And then Wheel World for me. Can't wait to ride that bike while I organize my drawer.
Yes, exactly.
God.
Okay, the street wants me to go down this way, so I'm going to turn around.
This guy.
This dude.
Okay, we're literally at the 2-hour mark. It's now 2 a.m. where I'm at. So let's do some quick wrap ups. Is there anything you guys want to discuss very briefly before we go? And if not, we'll do a kind of our sign offs here in a minute.
Man, I wish I could have been a stronger part of that Zelda. I think you guys maybe messed with my internet until we got through the Zelda conversation, just so I could only talk so much. I think I've been fine.
Did you pay your bill halfway through or what?
Love it.
You guys are just like saying, "Oh, I can't hear you, Evan. I can't." No, you're just all right. He's going on too long.
The comments for the video are gonna be like, I could hear him fine. I don't. What are you guys talking about? Oh man, I got nothing over here.
Okay, nothing in Bulgaria, in Ohio.
Yeah. What would you ask?
I said nothing in Bulgaria. What do we got in Ohio?
Trying to figure out what I'm playing next. I'm about to wrap up Echoes of Wisdom. I just beat 2 other games. I'm about to wrap up, Drawer Organizer.
Just beat 2 other games. Don't just ignore the fact that they were 20-minute games.
That he turned into over an hour.
I spent over an hour on average.
He did find the secret level.
He did. Props there for sure.
Guess you got to play Metaphor now.
No.
That's how my kid says stuff. He looks at me and goes, "No."
I gotta play Persona 3 first because I actually have access to it. I don't have to pay to play that.
There you
but
go.
No, I was thinking about instead of doing the remote plays Game Pass, asking all right, I was in the spirit of the season still, creepy games or creepy-esque parallel games. I've got 5 games for you that I've been wanting to play for a long time. Or some amount of time that I haven't. So I was gonna let you guys pick my next game.
Oh snap! Okay,
baby.
But it's So all right,
it's in your backlog.
Yes, and which we were shouted out earlier, by the way. Attack the Backlog. We were featured in a predictions video with him on Switch 2. Mark and I were, because Curtis hates the Switch, even though he's going to be buying it day 2.
But Switch.
And so we had Switch 2 predictions. We're on Attack the Backlog, Backlog's channel. He's got some pretty cool channels. He does a lot of giveaways over there.
We will link that video in the description of this video.
Absolutely.
Don't feel obligated to click it though, because it is just about the Switch.
No, you should totally feel obligated because it's about the Switch.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. So we had a great video series with him. So he's now in the Discord as well. So that's another shameless
friend of the channel, right?
Yeah, partner, if you will. So just shameless plug again to hit the Discord invite below. Let's pick your game and then I'll do the little shout outs that we got to do.
Sure. So I mentioned one just a minute ago. Control is on this list.
Just stop the list there.
Inscription, which I expected you to feel better about it. So these aren't horror games, right? They're kind of creepy vibe games, right? Or and then I've got to finish Doom, and then so I played through a good chunk of Doom when it came out back on the Xbox One,
2016 Doom,
yep. And then Doom Eternal, since I'm wrapping that one up. So that'd be one, and then oh crap, I forget my other 2 that I had, and I didn't even write them down, but
we can pick for 3.
They
clearly weren't that good if you can't remember them. I'll let Curtis pick first.
I'm voting for Control.
I'm also voting for Control. Have you played Control, Curtis?
Nope.
You got to play Control. It was actually on sale for like $8 Ultimate Edition like a couple weeks ago. I actually got one of our listeners to buy it. The game is really good.
I went solely on the fact that I Googled this one and I Googled Inscription and I saw which one had better graphics.
What about Doom?
Yeah,
But
Doom's
you
incredible
said you've
graphics.
already played it like halfway through it though.
Yeah, I was gonna play Doom Eternal following that as well. So I'd finish up Doom and then move on to Doom Eternal.
Oh,
play
okay,
Doom
okay.
Eternal
That
as
was not
well.
clear. Okay,
Um,
gotcha. Not to me at least.
And then I do remember another one was Prey.
I've actually played Prey. I don't think it's that scary. Let's go with Control.
Okay.
Control's more psychological. So like Control, Curtis, is about the Federal Bureau of Control, and it's
The only actual horror game on this list, Dead Space.
ooh.
Okay, now we're just adding things to the list at this point. Like, is Silent
No.
Hill going to be on? Like,
those were the 5 games that I was thinking of, right? Doom Eternal, Dead
Uh,
Space, Control, Inscription, and Prey.
it would be a 50-50 between Dead Space and Control for me. I'm
Me
cool
too,
with
but I
either.
would lean Control so you can play Fire FPC the Fire
Oh, there
one
you go.
when it comes out.
Good idea.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, anyway, it's about the Federal Bureau of Control. It's like another government organization that deals with like psychological psyop like powers
The
and stuff.
Federal Investigation Bureau.
Yeah, the
Wow.
FIB.
Yeah.
So shout outs. I just wanted to say that dude, we're at 150 subscribers. We more than quadrupled our subscriber count.
Since I came on board.
Yeah, since Curtis came on board. That's technically true.
accurate.
Technically accurate. Maybe not the reason.
We've got a wireless technology expert on the show. So
we did 2 videos on what turned out to be the Nintendo Alarmo. Those videos blew up in relative to what we're used to with thousands of views. So thank you everybody that's new and checking us out. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Please tell your friends. If you're just a passerby and checking this out, like, subscribe, hit the Discord, leave comments down below about how you hate the Switch if you're on Curtis's side and you love great graphics.
Let's go.
Or whatever you're into, or whatever you disagree with or agree with, let us know. We always engage with all of you guys. But thank you. 150 is huge. We'll do some type of giveaway as well, which will probably be through the YouTube comments. So
You heard it here first.
All right.
I don't know why you heard first, but
Man, I'm gonna go eat some breakfast.
brutal. I'm gonna try and fall asleep so I can get up and watch my kids in like 4 hours. I'm sure they always sleep until like 8:30, but then when I do this damn podcast, they're like, "Hey, it's 5:30. It's time to get up."
Right.
Okay, cool. But that just means I'll play Echoes of Wisdom with them on the couch while they eat breakfast. So
there you go.
It's a win-win. All right, let's sign off. See you guys for next time. Have fun and keep gaming.
Peace.
See you.
Bye.